Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is Scott Garber back in the saddle with the Profluence podcast. Excited to come back today as we are highlighting innovators and builders across the whole sporting landscape. For all of you guys that aren't aware, Profluence is the centralized hub for all builders, founders, investors, advisors that are shaping the future state of sports. Today, we're focusing on an emerging league, iterating on a traditional game of baseball here in the U.S. and providing new opportunities by leveraging the past and taking in some of the future state, just to create a really cool opportunity for the game to grow. But as you guys know, this isn't my story to tell, so I'm excited to bring my man Ruben Amaro Jr. onto the screen and have a fun conversation. Ruben, my man, how we doing today?
I'm doing great, Scott. Thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting with you about Sluggball.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I think the coolest thing about sitting in this seat is we get to learn about everything that's coming to the market before it goes and balloons to become the next best, biggest thing in the sports world. And I think that's exactly what today's conversation is going to be. Format of today, Ruben, we're just going to get to know you as a person and, really start to understand how your journey led to the innovation and founding of Sluggball. And then really focus on what this sport is and where you guys are going to be taking it. So, to kick things off, Ruben, let's let the listeners know a little bit of insight into who you are and how you found yourself in this position.
Well, I've been part of baseball for a long, long time. Baseball's been in my family for many, many years. My dad played in the major leagues for 11 years. My grandfather was a Hall of Famer in Mexico and in Cuba, and sort of matriculated life. Life became baseball for the Amaro folks. When my brother and I were born here in Philadelphia while my dad was playing with the Philadelphia Phillies. That's all we knew was baseball. My dad was involved in baseball at a number of different levels and a number of different ways as a manager, coach, player. He also worked in front offices and was a international scout. So baseball has been sort of our life, and I sort of followed in his footsteps in a lot of ways. Ended up playing competitively at Stanford University, got a chance to get educated there, and that was an important element of our upbringing with my parents, and ended up getting an opportunity to play Major League Baseball and sort of matriculated through baseball similarly to the parallel and sort of paralleled my dad's life in a lot of ways. And once I stopped playing as a major leaguer after parts of maybe 8 years in the big leagues, went in the front office, became an assistant GM, and then did some coaching after that at the major league level. So I've had a lot of hats, worn a lot of hats, from bat boy to coach to player to executive. Baseball has been my life, and it's been my love and my dream, and it's been something that's very important to our family. But I'm really fortunate to be able to be in this game still, and now providing some entertainment on the broadcast side. I'm working with NBC Sports Philadelphia and MLB Network now, so I'm on the flip side now as a analyst and broadcaster, and that's been really fun. As I've hit my 60-year-old mark, it's fun to be able to continue to stay in baseball.
My man, how cool. And I mean, be remiss without time stamping it. And I mean, what a cool time to be from Philly. The Birds just brought the Super Bowl back home. And, between, what Xfinity's done out there, I mean, I just think that is one of the coolest sporting environments with Phillies Flyers and then the link right there. We'll touch on that, that side of it, but had to give the Eagles their shout out there.
Yeah, man, go Birds. It was a big weekend for Philadelphia. I'm a huge fan, born and raised in Philly. I bleed Phillies red, but I also bleed Eagles green as well. So it's really cool to be, to be in the middle of that as well.
Yeah, it's so neat, and I think it goes to the power of sport, Ruben. It's this binding agent that brings community together, and to watch that city rally behind the pro sports teams, I think is it's a true testament of the power of the game that you participated in all different facets. I'm really curious from a perspective lens. With the tenure of your family going back to your grandfather to now you calling games, what's been the biggest change that you've noticed as we've gone through the evolution of baseball, from participating to where you're at now? What's been the biggest change that you've seen?
I think one of the things that obviously there's been a major influx of information about baseball. The analytics piece has sort of changed the trajectory of the game, and it sort of started with the Moneyball movie, and I think that there was a pretty major change. I think in some ways for the better, and other ways we got away from the tradition of baseball, and I think that's one of the reasons why we sort of developed Sluggball, because we felt like it was something. I think that the traditional part of the game, the essence and the beauty of the game, in some ways was lost, because what was happening with baseball was that that three thing outcome: the home run, the walk, and the strikeout. And I think that took away from the entertainment for people to enjoy baseball, because when you think about baseball, you think about strategy and action on the field and great defensive plays and athleticism and intelligence and that sort of thing. And I think that we had lost that for a while, and the game became a little antiseptic. I think some of the rules that Rob Manfred and the commissioner's office and baseball in general, the MLBPA, have sort of instituted, I think has sort of helped the game move forward a little bit. And I'm hoping that it continues to get back to some of the traditional pieces of the game that made the game so beautiful for me, and really so intricate and special.
Yeah, really well said. Really well said. And I think the consumption habits are very different as well, right? Our attention spans as consumers has really shrunk down. And, as a byproduct of that, we're watching these traditional sports come off with different offshoots now to start to meet the audience where they're at, both from a participatory and a viewership standpoint. And so, Ruben, for everyone who's not familiar, congrats on your guys' launch of Sluggball. But now let's go ahead and sort of dive into it. Where did you guys come up with it from the name? Where did you see the opportunity? Then educate us on what exactly is Sluggball.
So we really felt like in this marketplace, as you said, I mean, ever changing, and there's so many different opportunities for people to be entertained. And you start thinking about things like Top Golf is sort of an iteration of golf, a way to not have to necessarily go play 4 hours of golf or 5 hours of golf, and just be able to hit the ball and enjoy yourself and have a beer. Same thing with I don't know, I guess pickleball for tennis. I mean, it's a sort of an iteration of it, a little bit of, cross between ping pong and tennis. I think it's one of those things that, again, another iteration of things that people can do to entertain themselves and to participate. And you don't necessarily have to be a professional to really enjoy those games. And that's what happened with baseball, is that, for us, we started thinking about, and we had a group here in Philadelphia who started thinking about, okay, well, what does baseball have? Well, there's softball, there's hitting cages, there's stuff like that, but there's no real competition or some iteration of baseball where baseball is after baseball. Like, what do you do once you're done playing as a high schooler or as a college player, or even as just an athlete, someone who really loves the game? What do you do to play baseball? Well, people don't go and play a pickup game. You're not playing 9-on-9. It's just not. Things just don't happen. That's not how it works. So
sure.
So we started thinking about what would be a entertaining, competitive, fun thing to do with baseball that a lot of people can enjoy, and not just the home run hitter. And that's why Sluggball was developed. And Sluggball, the whole essence of it is to have baseball after baseball, and to be able to hang out with your buddies and maybe have a beer. It's a 4-on-4 game. It's quick, it's fast paced, but you also get to do the best thing there is about baseball, which is hit. And you get to put the bat in your hand, and you're able to hit. Now, you don't necessarily have to hit home runs. You can, but we felt like the essence of the game of baseball has been the ability for people to handle and manipulate the bat, and to be able to hit the ball in certain areas of the field and situationally hit. And so for a traditionalist like myself, I really feel like that part of the game was a pretty special and cool skill that, people had. Nowadays, you see a lot more people. It doesn't matter whether you're 5'2" or you're 6'8". People are trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Well, baseball is not necessarily about that. The entertainment, the essence of the game is to be able to try to manipulate the ball to certain areas of the field so that you can create runs and you can create production. And I think that's one of the things that was really important for us when we were developing this game is to focus on that because one, not everybody can hit a home run and hit a ball out of the ballpark. That takes a special, sort of skill. But they're also, I think, once you start working on situational hitting and hitting the ball to certain areas, which is part and parcel of what this is about, that's something that you can actually improve on and get better and better at. And I think it also creates a cool competition to be able to, play 4-on-4 and to be able to get together with your buddies or some foes and, bring your group together to try to utilize the entire field and to pick up a bat and to be able to swing it again like you did when you were a kid. And I think that's something, to me, obviously baseball has so many different elements of it. There's fielding, there's running the bases, all those sorts of things. But the most fun is picking up a bat and, making contact with a baseball. It's one of the hardest things to do. It's also one of the most fun things to do for me as an ex-athlete and ex-professional. That was the best part of the game was swinging the bat. You even talk to pitchers; they'll say the same thing. Man, I'd love to be able to grab that bat and swing the bat. So basically, the essence of it is this: you can have teams that are anywhere from 6 to 8 folks. You play a 4-on-4 game against another opponent, and you basically are hitting the baseball in certain areas during a particular round, and it's fast-paced. You have 30 seconds per hitter to be able to hit the ball, whether it's in this one round, hitting it to right field or opposite field, hitting it to center field, or hitting it to left field. And to be able to do that, you sort of have to have a very good batting practice pitcher to help you put yourself in that position to be able to do that. So that is also part of your team. That's an important element of it. So you gather your 6 to 8 guys, you go 4-on-4, you take your best hitters for that situation, and you try to line them up so that they can compete against other teams. Now you compete by gathering points every time you hit a ball properly in the right area at that time, whether it's the round that goes to right field or the round that goes to center and left. There's also around the horn where you have to go in succession, right, center, left. And I think these are things that the control of the bat, there's an actual skill set that is necessary to do this. And I really honestly believe that it's something that after having tested it and run it and done had a couple of events, people really enjoyed it. I mean, they got a chance to be back with their buddies, play the game, swing the bat. It's a challenge, and they got to compete against somebody, which again, that's something that you just really didn't get a chance to do once you were out of playing competitive, baseball, whether it's the high school level, whether it's American Legion level, whatever the case may be, collegiate level. We felt like there was a demographic somewhere between the age of 20 or so, 22 to maybe 40 or 50. And it not limited to that, but we felt like there was enough people. There's 3 or 4 million people in this world, in this country that I think, would really, really love to do this. And so we developed this game with the idea that we could create baseball after baseball. And we feel really, really good about it.
Very cool. So a couple questions for you just to piggyback that. Are these teams sanctioned? Is this more of a recreational play, or do you have teams that then travel around? Like, what is the format? And if I'm like a post-baseball player, how do I get involved with Sluggball?
So basically what you would do is go on our website. We have scheduled 6 events. And basically what you do is you gather your group together. It could be your best buddies. It can be whomever. Yep. And you register to play in the games and to compete. And then we have basically a round robin sort of format where you're competing against other teams and there's cash prizes at the end. I mean, you're obviously buying in to play. And then, at the end, if you happen to be the winner at the end, there's cash prizes. You end up, winning some money. So not only are you getting entertained by actually playing and participating, but you're also, with a goal that he might make some money out of this thing. So
No, very cool.
we feel like it's we feel like we're creating a tournament type atmosphere, but it's really in some ways. I think when people started playing pickleball, I'm not sure if they thought that they were going to end up having professional pickleball players out there. Well, do we think there'll be a professional slugball players out there? Maybe somewhere down the road, but really this is for people to like be entertained and to have something to do. Like you take your buddies on a foursome and you go play a round of golf, or you go to you gather some friends and you play a little pickleball and you bang it around. We feel like that element is something that baseball doesn't have, and that some people I think would long to be able to come back and do.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at we watched, the adult softball really take off, right? And so, like, I mean, immediately that's where my mind went, where these guys and gals are traveling all around the country and playing highly competitive softball. So that made a little sense, and then the wiffle ball side of things, but there was nothing like in true baseball. So I want to go back to the mechanics of it real quick. Like you mentioned, Moneyball. There's been a huge advancement in technology in baseball. So when you start to think about a Top Golf meets baseball, I'm curious, does Sluggball leverage any technology to help with the scoring, to make sure that the ball is going into the right zone? How does that integrated and shape the game?
So we do. We have worked with a couple of different companies where during the course of the game you can see your bat speed and that sort of thing. You can see there'll be launch angles and things that you'll be able to see. Whether or not they'll be integrated into the game is something hey, this guy's got pretty good bat speed. Whether that's the most important element of it is not necessarily the biggest element of it, but it will have some element of technology involved.
Super cool. Super cool. So now let's go ahead and like, this is more putting on the founder hat, right? Look at anytime we're doing a new sport, we've had tech ball come on, which is soccer and ping pong. We've had, all kinds of different iterations and mashups. There's a huge education curve, right? Even with pickleball, the way you keep score is very different than the way you would keep score. And there's a lot of nuances in the rules. How are you guys educating the traditional baseball player that one, slug ball exists, and then two, the nuances of the game to make sure that it's aligned when they show up to get the right experience?
Yeah, I think interestingly, I mean, we've obviously put some stuff on the website to see how how to play the game and what it takes to have success. We think that there's a couple of elements about the game that I think would be appealing to folks. It's different with slug ball in that the games don't last more than maybe 25 to 30 minutes. Each competition is pretty quick, and there's a timing element to each one of the rounds. Like the pitcher has to be able to deliver the ball in a timely fashion. The hitter has to be as accurate as he possibly can be so he can accumulate points. There is the element of some fast pace, but there's also the element of skill and accuracy. And I think all of those things are sort of things that would appeal to people, and something that would create a competition whereby people can start working on it. Okay, I'm going to go to the hitting cage and prepare myself to be able to utilize all parts of the field in certain situations when I need to do it. I mean, it's basically you'd have to practice, hitting the ball to different parts of the field, and it's a skill that you can, that you can actually improve. I mean, it's something just like any other athlete trying to improve on a certain set of skills. I think it's something that people, I think at some point, once they play the game, they'll understand like the nuances and the importance of being able to, get the right pitch or have the right batting practice pitcher to be able to throw the ball in the proper space, and then also have that type of hitter hitting in this particular round because he or she does an unbelievable job of driving the ball the other way, or can really hit the ball through the middle of the field, or has the ability to move the ball around to all parts of the field. I think it is something that we feel that people will start to, really bear down on trying to improve, and we're hopefully we'll start to scale it. We're not going to try to scale too quickly. I think it's important for us to try to get our feet on the ground, We have set up 6 tournaments as of right now. Could expand to 8 later on, but we're excited about it. And we have our first one in Trenton in May, and we're excited about getting things rolling and getting people acclimated to what this is all about.
It's so cool, man. And I'm picking up on this, but I just want to clarify. Pickleball, it's a different racket, it's a different ball. Are you guys just using a traditional baseball and bat, or is there any modification to the equipment for Sluggball?
No modification, and we're not using a pitching machine. As I said, I mean,
Yep.
we feel like it's important for us to have an actual live arm, and traditional baseballs, traditional wood bats. They will not be aluminum bats. It would be a wood bat, and we do have Victus on board helping us sponsor
Nice.
and providing some of that equipment. Obviously, probably use your own, but and bring your own bats and to be able to do that. But traditional baseballs, traditional bats.
Very cool. And so, I'm always curious, right, when you have the MLB, who is the juggernaut in the baseball space. Are you guys partnering with some of these existing facilities to run these events? Are these more at municipalities, just where there's multiple fields? How do you guys think about rolling out these first 6 events? Because the second part of the question is this a spectator sport, right? Will you have people come and watch this, or is it more just for the participants?
Actually, it's both. I mean, obviously, we like to have the participants; that they're the most important element of this. But clearly, you can bring your friends and you bring your family, and they can come watch. We've actually partnered. Basically, it's been an individual thing where we've talked to some of these minor league stadiums that have had a lot of success, and we feel like there's certain venues that will work really well and have a certain level of popularity. And they'll be able to help, bring the information and bring the excitement to the game. We've talked to a couple of different places, one in Staten Island, one in Trenton, one in Mahoning Valley. So we've bounced around and we've built some relationships with some people and those minor league ballparks, so that we were able to get in there. Now, at some point this be big enough to expand into a major league team or a major league stadium? Possibly, but again, I think we got to start intelligently. We want to start slowly and see how this thing takes, what kind of foothold it takes, and you never know what can happen later on.
Yeah, no, look at we don't have to look too far in baseball for what Jesse and the Savannah Bananas has done, and if you have a mission and a vision, and you're able to go ahead and start and stack wins, right? I don't think ever in a million years that we would see Fenway sold out for the Savannah Bananas, right? And it's the most exciting time, I think, in sports, where we can still pay homage to the traditional sport of baseball, but now start to put all these different iterations on it and continue to evolve the game, but not neglect the roots of where it came from. So, Ruben, this has been such a treat, man. Just to get to know you, to understand the brains and the power behind Sluggball. Is there anything else for the novice listener that is going to tune in, or a potential investor? Right, we have a lot of different folks that are looking at this. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that we should highlight, on the Sluggball journey to where you guys are at right now?
No, I think we're just we have the hope right now, and we've tried to be pushing, just the awareness of what this game is about. I think obviously there's going to be a curiosity as if this is something new. Is this, what is this all about? We would implore you to get on, online. Check out playsluggball.com. Go and check out some of the elements and some of the video, and listen to some of the people that have talked about it. Larry Boa, who is a great, Phillies icon, shortstop, coach, manager. Kenny Lofton, who is now involved. We do have the MLBPAA involved as well, supporting us. We are in discussions to talk to MLB about, what kind of synergy can happen with that as well. So I think it's more about, hopefully, people getting an opportunity to come to those, to go ahead and go to those events, check it out. If you think you like it, bring your buddies together get a group together, come out and play Sluggball, because we really feel like it's something that you'll enjoy doing with your friends, doing with maybe your family, whatever the case may be, to be entertained and to be able to pick up that bat again and to swing it and have some fun with it.
I love it, man. And we right before we hopped on, we were talking about all these baseball guys that then transition into golf and sprayed a little left and right off the tee. And I think it's so there'll be a lot of refreshing thoughts around this when it's like, hey, I can go and actually play the sport that I love and play golf as a leisure activity. So this is really cool. I'm excited to watch the run that Sluggball is going to go on. We're going to continue to post everything, educate our audience, and again, just we wish you guys the best of success as we roll out this year. And I think we're going to have to come up north and check out one of these games. I was a football player, so I don't know that I'm going to be picking up a wooden bat, but maybe I might be a GM of a team or something. So
that sounds good. Hey, that might not be. You might be able to formulate. Grab some guys in your area or recruit some athletes that you think might be able to handle the bat a little bit. But
listen, I got Matt Joyce here in my backyard, so I was going to say we might have to rally the troops here with the old Tampa crew and recruit some of the Yankees while they're down here on spring training and see if we can give this thing a run.
That would be really cool, and obviously the professional hitters, even that would be a challenge for them as well. But I think that at some point we're hopeful that we have more and more interest in this, and you being able to provide this on your platform, we really appreciate it, and hopefully we can make something really fun for the folks.
I love it, man. Well, listen, this is the goal of and the mission of Profluence is to highlight the innovators, the builders that are shaping the next wave of sports. And, Ruben and Sluggball, we're excited to follow your journey, as I mentioned, and be the biggest supporters of what you're doing. So, for what you're doing from Profluence, thank you so much. And, we're going to have to do a follow-up here in a year to see where Sluggball's at and, shock the world with the massive traction you're going to get. So, best of luck with everything, man, and look forward to doing it again soon.
From your lips to God's ears, Scott. Really appreciate you and Profluence for keeping us for keeping our name alive here and bringing this thing to light, because we think it's got a chance to be really special.
Onward and upward. As my man Jay-Z said, you guys could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here, and I appreciate it. Be sure to tune into our next episode at the Profluence Sports Podcast, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.